Well, just Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. It is Friday night at 9 o'clock. We have this extended weather update for you to help you prepare for your weekend and also next week too, as we are seeing some of the hottest temperatures so far of the summer that are going to be moving in. Now for the weekend, we're expecting mid-90s. We've had a lot of mid-90s here in our area so far this year. And as of right now, the hottest temperature that we have had so far this year was 97 degrees. I believe that was on July 14th. When we hit that 97-degree temperature. We expect to go over that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. And we're talking about temperatures that will be in the upper 90s, right around 98, 99 degrees. Even some of you will make it up to the triple digits. We don't think everybody will, but officially at Hartsfield-Jackson, we're thinking it will be about 98, 99 degrees here for that Monday through Wednesday. So that's why we have an 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert in effect for those 3 days here to start the week with those temperatures near 100. And that's not all we're going to be watching. We have the humidity around too. And so when those temperatures get up to near 100, it is going to make it feel like it's around 105 or higher with the heat index. So I want you to be aware of that. Your body has to work harder in this humid air to produce sweat, number one. And when that sweat evaporates, it evaporates, and that evaporative cooling cools off our skin and our body. But when it's humid, that sweat doesn't evaporate as efficiently, and your body works harder to produce even more sweat because your body's like, wait a minute, I'm producing sweat, it's not cooling down yet, I've got to produce more. And if it's not evaporating effectively, then it's going to keep producing more and more. So that's why you have to drink plenty of water and keep yourself hydrated. So that's why we issued this 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert yesterday for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We wanted to give you plenty of days notice to know, number one, go ahead and start hydrating and make a point to drink extra fluids, especially water. And do that through the weekend too. Even though we don't have an 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert for the weekend, it's still going to be hot. We're going to be in the mid-90s, and the heat index values are going to be around 100. But I know we've had some of that already, so we're kind of prepared for that, right? But it's this really hot air coming in for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday that we may not be prepared for. So do your hydrating this weekend and into next week too. And then I also want you to prepare not only for this weekend, but especially next week. Take breaks. If you have plans with your family outside, to try to get in some things before school starts and go have fun outside, make sure you are keeping in mind to have some breaks. Find a place where you can cool off because this is really hot and our bodies really just aren't used to these temperatures that are so hot out there. Now, we do not have a heat advisory for our area tomorrow. Again, in Atlanta, we're going to be in the mid-90s. We think we'll be below heat advisory criteria, and that would be heat index values at 105 or higher. So Metro Atlanta is not in a heat advisory for Saturday, but some areas to the east are, and that includes Athens here over in Clark County, down to Oconee County, also into these areas of Morgan County and Jasper County, Putnam County. That line over to the east, Greene County is included in that, Oglethorpe County is included in that, also over toward the Augusta area. All those counties to the east of us in that orange color, that's where we have a heat advisory that is in effect Saturday from noon until 8 o'clock in the evening hours. Now on Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised if a few more counties are added into that heat advisory for your Sunday. So we'll let you know about that. They typically don't issue these until the day before. So we'll keep you posted of that during the day here on Saturday as to whether or not Sunday is going to be included in a heat advisory, or which counties will be there. So this is a look at the temperatures that we're talking about. Now I know yesterday we were telling you 99 degrees for all 3 of the days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The models have come down a degree on a couple of those days. We're now going 98 Monday, 99 Tuesday, and then 98 here for your Wednesday. And the heat index values, though, are still going to be up there at 105. So if we do think we're going to be at 105 on Monday. The Weather Service is most likely going to include a lot more counties in a heat advisory for these 3 days. We expect we'll get to 106 on Tuesday, 106 for a heat index on Wednesday as well. Very hot air coming in, and it's not just going to be one of these one-day things. It's going to be gradually getting hotter here for the weekend, as well as Monday, Tuesday, and on Wednesday. So on Sunday, this is a look at the heat impact map. And I wanted to show you this because look at all the red really covering Metro Atlanta and a big part of North Georgia. And the red means major heat impacts, where you have to take some precautions and make sure you're extra careful out there. But I want you to notice the purple color here beginning to build in East Georgia, also back into South Carolina and parts of North Carolina. That purple color is extreme heat impacts. So you have to take it into account even more. Take more of those breaks and limit even more of your outdoor exertion in the heat of the day. Now look what happens on Monday. The purple color extends covering a big part of Metro Atlanta and over to the east of us, meaning more areas will be considered or classified in extreme heat impacts for Monday, as well as here on Tuesday. Still that purple color that is here for our area, indicating extreme heat impacts. So this is just one of the guides that we have here, and this is why we have that 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect here for Monday, Tuesday, as well as on your Wednesday. Now, we do expect that even though we have plenty of heat and plenty of humidity around for the next few days, the rain chances still look to be on the low end. In fact, we don't see much happening out there right now. We did see a couple of showers a little bit earlier. And again, this time of night, we often get some false echoes right around the radar site. So what you're seeing here, that's not really rain. It's not raining down in Fayette County, into Coweta County or Spalding or Henry counties there. But we did have a few showers a little bit earlier. And we'll zoom in just a little bit tighter here. We had some out I-20 West. At parts of Douglas County. South Fulton had some pockets of heavier rain earlier with some thunder and lightning, also from Carroll County into areas of Haralson County. Cobb County had a few isolated showers a little bit earlier with some thunder and lightning, but those are all moving up toward the north and pushing away. I'm zooming in here because just a moment ago we saw just one little blip here in northern Cobb County. That's gone away. We have one little blip there in parts of Cherokee County. That's really all the rain that we can find now. So pretty much for the rest of the evening, we're not concerned about any additional showers that are going to be developing. On the south side, a couple of showers over here in Jasper County, moving into southern Morgan County. Those are just developing there just south of I-20. This is Lake Oconee right here on the county line between Putnam and over into Greene County. So this is to the west of Lake Oconee there, but just south of I-20 where we see a couple of those showers. And then again, over to the west, we had a few of those showers earlier pushing to the north. And that's pretty much all that we have right now. A lot of what we had earlier, even though they were isolated, they're all pretty much falling apart. Now, we're also watching down in South Georgia. Had a couple of showers earlier. Those are falling apart too. But here is that system we've been telling you about this week that moved from the Atlantic over North Florida. And then it's kind of been hanging out here along the Gulf Coast. We have a couple of showers pushing into Louisiana, southern Mississippi, a little bit in the Panhandle and South Alabama. But going over into Texas now, this is where we have that system that, remember, we were telling you we were going to watch it, but it only had about a 10% chance of developing. Well, it really did not develop into a tropical depression or a named storm or anything. And right now, the National Hurricane Center is showing the center of that area that we were watching for that little bit of potential is now moving inland there, right at the Texas and Louisiana line, pushing in here. So they're now giving this a 0% chance of developing into a tropical depression or a tropical storm because it's moving inland. So this is really going to be the last update that the National Hurricane Center does on this system, because once it moves inland, of course, those chances continue to stay at 0%. So this was just something we wanted to watch through this week, knowing that it would just bring some rain in along the Gulf Coast region, but not really having any impact on us. And now behind this, we really don't see much showing up here as a potential for a system. We're getting some hints of maybe way out into the eastern Atlantic. There could be a little system that develops later on this week, but we'll let you know if that does in case start to happen. Here's a live look looking over Truist Park here toward the west, where you've got that nice color there on the horizon as the sun went down. It's now around 8:41, 8:42-ish time frame when the sun goes down now. Looking over the city of Atlanta, looking nice. It's a beautiful night there in Atlanta, even though it is still kind of warm out there. Here's another view. This is our tower cam. I believe it's about 950 feet up there on our tower looking toward the west. Beautiful view of the city, and of course that nice color there on the horizon too, that the sun has already gone below the horizon. Just kind of that color mixing in with some of the clouds, giving us a nice view. Let me show you what we're watching though as we go through the rest of the nighttime hours tonight. I want you to look at the almanac first. If you were watching us at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock, we were telling you that the high for the day was 92. Well, it actually went up a little bit more during that time frame. We usually get this report in around 4:40 or 4:45 for the high of the day. And at that point, it was saying 92. But after that, it did bump up to 94 for the official high for today. 4 degrees above the average. We should be around 90 for this time of year. We have been dealing with really mild mornings. 75 degrees was our temperature this morning. And next week, when we see these highs in the upper 90s, our morning temperatures are going to be just barely below 80 degrees with the morning lows in the upper 70s next week. No rain in our area today. Our rainfall departure, our deficit is about 1.5 inches below where we should be for this time of year. Here's another look at that mild start this morning in the 70s. Then, as we were with you at 4 o'clock and, 4 and 5 o'clock, we were telling you the high was 92. It did bump up to 93 at 6. So in between those hourlies, that's when we hit 94 degrees. And then at 7, we were at 90. Now we're back down into the lower 80s. And it's going to stay mild here for the rest of the nighttime hours. In fact, right now, we're at 82. A little warmer over on the east side. 84 in Covington, 86 in Athens. We have 85, though, in Dalton, 82 in Rome. Some more 70s, though, to the south and west of us. Tomorrow, mild start, 75. Look how we warm quickly. We'll get up to 95 degrees here in the afternoon. Generally a rain-free day. I'm really thinking that we'll have a less than 20% chance for a shower here on Saturday. Here's the forecast track. You can see tonight, nothing going on out there tonight. And then as we start tomorrow morning, again, a dry start for the morning time, lunchtime, and even in the afternoon with temperatures in the mid-90s and humidity around. We just don't expect to see any or many showers bubbling up. We're going with a less than 20% chance for a shower here. We may see a few more of those back into parts of Alabama, but again, not much to worry about here in our area. Pretty much the same thing for Sunday, even in the afternoon hours, not really seeing much widespread rain, less than 20% chance for a shower on Monday, another dry day, but it's on these days when we have those temperatures, especially on Monday, getting up into the upper 90s here with that weather impact alert. And you can see the rain chances non-existent Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, up to 20% Tuesday, 30% chances on Wednesday. So we see the rain chances coming up a little bit. Temperatures, though, still really high. 98 Monday, 99 Tuesday, 98 on Wednesday. And again, with the heat index, it's going to feel even hotter out there with all the humidity around. And again, not only is it the afternoon temperatures that are warm, but the morning temperatures, overnight and morning temperatures are also going to stay very mild. So it really doesn't give our atmosphere much of an opportunity to kind of rebound and cool off a little bit. Tuesday morning, our low is going to be around 79 degrees, almost 80 degrees when you're waking up in the morning on Tuesday. And then that afternoon is when we're going to get up to around 99 degrees. So it's going to be really hot out there. Now, we do see some relief. We showed you this last night, which was showing likely cooler air pushing in for the first week of August. This now has us just kind of a generally average here, but hey, we'll take that. Going down to an average high of about 90 degrees versus temperatures in the upper 90s. So I think we'll notice that a little bit going into next weekend and the first week of August, with temperatures maybe giving us just a little bit of a break. So here is that 7-day outlook, and you can kind of get an idea of all that we've been talking about here in this one graphic with those very hot temperatures for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, mid 90s, but then the hottest will be on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's when we're going to see partly cloudy skies, highs 98 and 99 degrees, that 11 alive weather impact alert. Rain chances at 30% here on Wednesday, as well as on Thursday and Friday. We do think that high heat will break, though, once we get to the end of the week, with the temperature still hot, though, but coming down to 95 Thursday, 92 for a high temperature on Friday, and then that weekend maybe a little bit more of a relief, too. We hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for watching this extended outlook here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll have more updates for you tonight at 11, as well as through the weekend right here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7.